Hi there. So in my recent video, I've talked about dreams, how entities are affecting those dreams, deleting and wiping our memories so we would not remember anything when we go out of body or have lucid dreams or just simple good dreams. And they are the ones causing the nightmares, making sure that you wake up feeling grumpy, depressed, sad, whatever, negative, so that they can control the rest of your day. So that was the subject of the previous video. And I've also mentioned that lately the work I've been doing over the 5 years is paying off and I'm finally connecting the dots, like everything's connecting and making sense to me. And I really love learning from this whole thing. It's fascinating, and I like this whole work I'm doing. It's basically solar retrieval, getting out of full body, doing remote viewing, just getting rid of entities, like all kinds of things. Finally connecting into one, making sense. Like that's what I wanted. Um, so this video, I've talked about this thing, and today the bigger thing is soul contracts and entities and how it's all related. Because recently, I think yesterday, I was just like walking and like I'm doing great, like everything's going great, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get this fear going on. I was like, hey, what is that? Like for me, it was a trigger, and I knew it was not me because usually when something happens, I know that I'm gonna be thinking about it. I'm gonna know that like I focus on it or something, but my attention was on something causing me to feel that way I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling great, I'm doing like good and I'm positive, I'm uplifted, optimistic, I'm working, I'm productive, I'm doing a lot. Like these days, I'm winning big time. And for me, what happens is like with all the high I'm going through, all of a sudden this worrisome thing kicks in, and all of a sudden I'm worrying about people or someone I care about, and I'm like, that's not me. Like I know that I care about people. Worrying about them is okay, sort of like because you care and you don't want anything bad to happen. But the weird thing is that I know those people are okay. I know that things gonna be like right. There's nothing wrong going on. So why do I get this trigger? And that's the moment I knew that it was not me. And I'm just gonna go like divide it into. I want to talk about this topic, but there's also something important I need to mention. It's important for us to be in control of us and ourselves and what we think, how we feel, and everything else. It's important to be in control because when you do something in life, and let's say you focus on something, or you don't do your homework, or you're just tired and lazy, or you eat bad, and let's not blame entities all the time because you have to take responsibility for everything. I mean, like that's the bigger game. You are responsible for yourself, your actions, your mind, and stuff. Entities will drop you baits. Like they will try to bait you, but you are the one responsible for your actions. So let's say for me, I know that I'm responsible when I focus on something and then start feeling something like, oh my god, I just focused on something and thought out what if and something negative, and now I have soul just like start thinking about bad things and things that can happen, like all the what ifs, and it's all negative. And I was the one to trigger this whole thing, or I was baited, I took the bait, and now I am like having the consequences. So if you don't do your homework and you're like, oh, the entities made me forget, you have to be in control of that. So let's not blame entities all the time. Like it's important to know when it's us and when it's them. So that's what I'm talking about. Like today, I knew I was doing great. I mean, like yesterday, I was doing, and today I'm doing great as well today. But yesterday, I was doing like great, and I'm going like high and stuff. And all of a sudden, this thing kicks in, and I'm starting to worry. And there was not a single reason for me to worry because I knew that things are right. Like logically thinking, like everything's perfect. Like my life is going great. The other people's lives are going great. Everything's just smashing and like, perfect. And all of a sudden, I get this like worrisome feeling, and I'm like, where does that come from? So that's the moment I knew that I'm affected. I'm sorry for repeating myself so much. But basically, as I concentrate on that, and I wrote down like, okay, that's the thing. So I'm like basically waiting for Rich to connect because like we just like to do this work together and share like what we think and like find out and like do this research together because we like more wins for us and it's like interactive. So yeah. So later in the day, I connect with Rich and we were doing the session. I'm going out of body, looking like what was it that caused the feeling. So again, like usual stuff, like it's becoming repetitive, and I'm seeing the patterns all over the place. Usually there are entities inside us, like nano-sized particle entities. They're so small because like it's really hard for us to focus and see them or think that it's someone else causing this whole thing. So they're the ones pretty much causing this thing, or this little itch or worrisome feeling. Like they know what I think about. They know that I'm doing great, and they will pick up on that thing. Like, hey, that's not good. Let's find something opposite of what she thinks to cause the bad negative feeling and trigger her and like cause a bad situation. And that's like a I'm counting on, and I would like find some in my head, on my throat, and like all these like worrisome feelings turns into the fear. Like as I go deeper into that, like what are they doing? What is it that they're trying to make me think, make me feel and stuff? And I just go deeper, exploring what is it that they want me to be like, and how are they gonna mess with me? So at least inside my like head, let's say, like tons, like no, it's not tons, like a few thousand, but imagine like not like thousand, not like not particle size entities, it's just like one little cluster. They're causing fears and worries and basically triggering like, hey, let's think like what if, what if, what if, and they basically you might feel like sitting here having a great day, and your mind goes if what if. You weren't the one thinking that; it was the entity thinking that, and they will think it constantly till you pick up their thought and say to yourself, like when you use your mind and you yourself say that, okay, what if, and you have the thought that they had, so they triggered, they baited you, you took the bait, you had the thought, and now that what if turns into a thing, and you start being like worrisome, like, oh, you worry, you're concerned, you get angry, and you've just took the bait, and now you're doing what they want you to do, and now you react, so you have like some sort of disappointment, worry thing. And so that's like I find a cluster in my head, I go into my throat, like, okay, what is it with them, like why do I feel like this sort of like tight feeling in my throat, and looking the entities, and basically they're making sure that I am not expressive. And if they can stop me from expressing myself in any kind of way, they win. Basically, just being myself, talking, or talking to the public, like making a video, like they would literally cause the throat ache, make sure that I have a hard time talking, make me worry, make me hurry, all sorts of things to keep me from getting the information out. Like, and of course, I know my faults. I know that sometimes I mispronounce things. I know that sometimes like my English is not perfect. Like I do lots of mistakes. Sometimes I don't find the right word. But I know my faults, and like I accept it, and I try to get better. But there are entities that will cause me to think negative, and all of a sudden, like, okay, what if, what if, what if, and I take the bait and I make it a thing, and now I feel bad about it. So okay, I get rid of the cluster in my head. I get rid of the cluster in my like throat, where they try to stop me from expressing myself, because you might want to make a video or something, or just talk to people, and all of a sudden your throat aches. Like I've been noticing this thing with my body and other people, like when we go and do sessions, and like they were doing the great all the time, and we're about to do session the next day, and they catch a cold, they catch like a flu, like they are feeling sick, they have headaches, or they have a hard time talking, all these sort of triggers out of the blue. And it's not necessarily out of the blue. Let's accept the fact that we can catch a virus or something and have the bacteria, and like it's gonna be our fault in one way, where we have the effect, like we do something wrong and that was the cause, and now we're having the effect and stuff. But also there are entities inside our body, and it works like a channel. If all the cloud and AI can pick up on what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you want, what you feel, and they know that, okay, next day they're gonna make a video, next day they're gonna be expressive, this is what they want to say in 5 minutes, they pick up your intentions, and they will do everything they can to stop you. Not all the time, but sometimes it's like they are really targeting people on every kind of level. It doesn't have to be like making a thing and getting your information out. It's simply you're gonna go out of body and you just want to be out of this place. But they don't like that because you are a threat, because you might change your opinion, because you might want to explore, you might want to look at their stuff. And they're like, not allowing that at all. And it can be little things like, hey, I'm gonna buy flowers for my lover, I'm gonna like buy coffee for this person, or just gonna give a gift. And all of a sudden they will cause like various things, like the person you're trying to please is like rejects you or doesn't agree with what you've offered, like, hey, let's go on a date, and they're like, nah, no. It might be the person, it might be the entity setting up the situation so that you would be rejected, or you would get like the no or bad answer, or anything that will stop you. And all of a sudden your work and everything you've been putting and to like making things work goes against you, and it stops you. So basically they're setting up other people against us, and it's not always, but they have basically, I'm just like calling it like taking a bait. They will do anything like to affect our thoughts. They can like put thoughts, put feelings in our heads, create urges and like intentions. You might be like having a great day, and all of a sudden you have an urge for certain food or certain activity or whatever, and that urge necessarily has to be yours. They're baiting you with that. They know that once you go do that, there will be negative consequences after that. and you will feel a certain way, and you will have deluge. So they're trying to bait you because they know that you're addicted to it. You like that stuff, and you're gonna go at it, and you're gonna enjoy your time, like whatever you do. You either eat or you have certain activities that you like, but after that, they're gonna have negative consequences. Not on every activity, but the ones that they're trying to bait you on. They know that it'll mess up your relationships. You'll have bad reaction. Your body will feel bad. Whatever they can to make you struggle, to make you suffer, to create a deluge and just get it out of you to enjoy themselves, they will do that. So this whole thing, I'm looking, it's just like looking at myself and the empties inside us. Like, okay, these are the channels. Like, they know what I think, what I want, and all those intentions. They pick it up, they send it to their headquarters. Like, this whole process of basically tracking us and stopping us from this whole work. And that's just one little step. And I'm like, okay. So all of a sudden, like, I feel like, let's say ache at like my stomach or like my arms are sick. Like, I haven't done anything to make it ache. And all of a sudden it just kicks in. It's like, what is that? So I look at that and like, where does it come from? And I like feel or sense the place, and I'm like, bam, I teleport. Like, I'm out of body. I'm doing this work, just like scanning and everything, and I teleport, and I'm in the underground bases. Like, I know that I'm on the planet, and I'm like looking around, like, okay, what's this place? What am I getting? What am I seeing? And as I walk, I'm like, here it goes, another room with tubes and full of people, and I'm looking like, there's thousands of those tubes, and I'm looking like, I don't see the end of it. It's just like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons, like floors, like one after another, like it's so close, all kinds of people, and I'm walking, I'm like, hey, what's this? And what happens is that as I'm walking in that on those underground bases, and I see like the tubes with people in it, I see myself, exactly physical body like I have here on Earth, looks exactly the same. I'm like, what's that? Like, why am I here? And what is this? And I'm exploring, and I start seeing people I know, people I've met, and I'm like literally like searching, like, I've seen that person like on on a video, or I've seen that person in a photo, or I've heard about this person, and walking, and every single being on Earth is there. At least like the ones I know, but it's just never ending. Like, there's billions. It's like never ending place full of tubes and stuff, and the people. And I'm like, what is this? Are they like harvesting us? What are they doing? And I'm looking. And basically, I'm like trying to like, okay, who's responsible? Like, why is it happening? And I go back to myself, and like this little pain I had in my arm during the day, or like as I started doing the session, it just clipped in. And I look at myself, and there's a wire literally wrapped up around the body, like literally grasping on it, like just super tight, where like my arm started hurting because of that. I'm like, what? And so as I'm going through, I start understanding. And basically, like, with the research I'm doing, I start understanding that we were the ones making the agreement, coming in here on Earth, that they can make the copy for bodies. It's basically the general rule they have. It's, if you open your passport, like, there's this one line, or like, it looks like a line, but if you zoom in, or just like have a, like the bigger glass and just like look at it, there's going to be words written in. So I was like giving examples, like, let's say when you were installing a software or a program, or a game or whatever, you have to agree with the terms of service, like, or terms of rules or whatever. And we just like click agree, yeah, gone, and scroll up through that. Like, we don't even look at the text or the things we were agreeing. We just like agree and next, and like we're done. We just want to get the product faster. So the same way is when we incarnate on Earth. Basically, they have that very line that whenever we incarnate, they're gonna have the duplicate or a copy of our body. The physical body that we have here, they'll have a duplicate at their place. And so it's agreement that we all make. From my belief, it's not necessarily that I'm right. It's basically the movie I've had was what I found out, and that's for me. Like, you can call me crazy, you can have your own beliefs. Take the information that you like and you agree with. If something you don't agree with, you can express it. You don't have to believe anything I say. I'm just saying that this is what I found out. And for me, things start matching because like it makes sense. So anyways, I'm doing this sort of work, and I'm looking through it. We were the ones making the agreement with Argons once we incarnate on Earth, and that's basically the basic rule. In order to incarnate here on Earth, they will take the duplicate of you. And so I like looking at that, like, why are they doing this? But this body, the physical one, is like our main one. The copy works like a voodoo doll. It's really interesting because they have the copy, and it starts growing like from fetus, like literally, and it starts growing, and like it takes the shape. It's exactly like it's 1-to-1. Everything matches. Like I know my little spots, like my all these balls and stuff. I know every single place where it is on my body, and I'm like looking like that's exactly me. Like everything is exactly the same. Like the recent scar I got is here on hand, and like I see every single thing, and I understand that we've been there for the whole life. Our like however long you spend here on Earth, it's like they have the exact same copy here on like out there of you, and we're all connected with cores. Like there are like lots of cores from this body to that body, and we're connected. Which is like why or how they can mess with that body, put implants. When we hear about implants, you get a feeling like, yeah, I think I have it. But you look on your body and you cannot find it anywhere. And people are like, okay, let's do the X-rays, kind of like, no, no, no implants. But you feel like you have one. You are sure, you're 100% sure that there is one. What happens is that I literally, okay, I'm out of body. We have all these superpowers. Like I'm just gonna like do the X-ray scan and just scan my body. Like there's like lots of implants. I see like 5, 6, 7. Like whoa, what was that? So basically, whatever they do with the body, they can input thoughts. They can input different memories. They can mess with you. They can like take you out and like have like literally harvest you or put implants in you. Do whatever they want with that body of yours. And so they mess with you there, and you get the reaction here. Maybe not as big, but with that cord connecting your body, this one and that one, you get the connection and you feel it. So basically, the pain I felt, like I had no single reason to feel that pain. I know that I'm taking care of myself, my workouts and everything is like good. I haven't done anything to have that pain, and it all of a sudden clicks in like just one little spot, and I'm like, what's that? Like, why am I getting this pain? And so um, I go back in time. Like as I'm in that place, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna check one thing. Because I remember that a few years ago, like 3 years ago, I literally woke up and I saw like a weird mark on my arm, and I had like one on my arm, one on my chest. I mean, my breast, and that was like really weird because I haven't done anything. Like, how can you get like a octagon mark with a thing in the middle uh, on your arm? Like it's super small. It's like probably the size of like my little fingertip. But basically, I had it marked for a few weeks and it didn't go away. And I haven't done anything. Like, you know how you can just like bite yourself or like hold yourself and you'll have the little mark left? Like, it's basically like that. I just had like little bumps of weird shape. And what happens is that I'm looking at it like, okay, it's weird. So I go back in time at that place. Like, I'm just like going back and seeing, and they literally were messing with the body and putting implants in me and like, injecting me with things. And I see those marks on that body got here on this body. And it's so weird, but it also makes sense for me. I'm not saying that I know everything and that's exactly the way it is. Like, that's just my experience and things that I found out for myself. Maybe it's all happening in my universe, but for me, it makes sense. And anyway, like, I'm seeing them, like, taking us and all these people in those tubes. Like, they can mess with us, put thoughts and mess with our energies, cause pain, like various pain and headaches and different things, sensations, do implants in us, anything that they can do to mess with us. It's crazy. So I found that, and like I just like literally I would like basically imagine pulling the cord out and like disconnecting myself from the body. And what happens as I disconnect myself from the body, bam, the pain is gone. Like I don't have the pain anymore of my arm and different things, but like I'm noticing changes like right away. And as I'm doing that sort of work, I'm like, okay, who's responsible? Who's responsible for this whole thing? And I'm scanning for like grays, reptilians, AI, or like some sort of clouds and like different entities, demiurges, and I can't find anyone that's guilty. And like, is it me? And like Rich has the meter, so he's like reading. And when I concentrated on myself, and I was like, I'm the guilty one. Like it was my fault because I was the one making the agreement. Like for them, it's just the rules, but we were the ones agreeing it, so it's our fault for agreeing. And like all of a sudden, the mirror goes like, they gets a read, and I'm the guilty one for making the agreement and allowing them to create the copy of me and cause this whole thing. And like, damn. So for me, that's when the whole thing connected. The work I've been doing with soul contracts, like removing my agreements, and like I've been doing it for years, like for 5 years or so, and it really paid off. And now I'm seeing that there's this huge agreement we have that they can like take the copy of your body and use that to mess with us. So all of a sudden, they're messing with that body, inputting thoughts and feelings and implants and different things to mess with you in any kind of way, and we get results. It's like that body is like a voodoo doll. Like they can stick it in any sort of way, do whatever, and this body will suffer. This body will feel it because we have the connection. And so like I'm looking through the agreements, like there it is. Like I allow the connection because like I'm looking through agreements because I was able to actually access my Akashic records and like see, like go to the list. Okay, that's what they have on me. Like I'm just gonna remove all that. But it's amazing because I'm doing this sort of like remote viewing, out of body work, and like getting rid of the entities and getting the aspects of myself back, and at the same time finding the soul contract thing and sound matching. Like it's all working. Like wow, like finally something fits. I mean, like it's not that it didn't fit the before, but all of the subjects that I've been working on and researching for 5 last years, everything connected at that one place, and that like really made sense. So this is like an interesting experience I had. Basically, I just disconnect myself and remove the agreements, and all of a sudden, like after the session, I was like, I got my energy back. Like, it's interesting how you can just blow off that stuff. Like, whenever you spot the something important or spot the guilty one, or just like you just get the knowing of sense and stuff. So you should have the bad energy and you get the good one back. Like you can even the way I do it is basically once I'm done with the entities and different things, I revoke the agreements and then start looking for the missing aspects of myself or something that I've lost. And I started getting like lots of aspects back because that's one of the interesting things. Like, how should I say it? Uh, they're really messing with us on a big level. And I'm sorry, just gonna drink some water because like my mouth is getting dry. But anyway, they're messing us and they're messing with us, and they have one huge tactic or like strategy on how to really mess us up. So basically, when we lose the asset of ourselves, and I've been talking like how you can break a glass full of paper and it will never be the same again. Like that's how they can mess with us. And I'm like, okay, if they take away this part, like, and we lose it, we all of a sudden feel like a different person. Like I've been like working with people or like reading through your stuff, and some people have let's say you have some weed or ayahuasca and like other things to have the DMT, and then they have out of body experience and they experience something really weird. Like some people have the Kundalini awakening and different things, and their body is affected out there. Like as they're traveling, I've been like working with people and like, I'm looking into the cases where people are literally cut in parts and like the entities just come in and start eating them, and they're losing tons of the aspects of themselves. So when they come back from that experience, their whole world becomes hell because they stop feeling things. They lose their excitement, their love, their like all the positive things, and now all of a sudden your life is like mundane, hellish, and all you're seeing is something negative or like literally nothing good in life, and your life becomes like suffering. Like, literally, there's nothing good happening. So I'm looking into this whole thing and the work I've been doing, like the research and getting the other aspects of myself back. I'm looking into okay, like when I do sort of work and I see the aspect of myself, and when I call them back, I basically imagine a vortex of gathering them all around, like from all over the universe and multiverse, like all kinds of places, the different dimensions. I just gather them from all kinds of places and use the vortex to have it all back inside me. So that's how I gather them back. And when I do sort of work, I'm like, okay, like there's like lots, there's thousands of aspects I'm getting back. Why is there so many? Like, did I literally just like, okay, this like, let's say loving aspect, excited aspect, or talkative or more expressive, did I just take it out and like push it away one by one so many freaking times? And I'm like, no, they're too small. Like if I would get that aspect back, and basically, like they're big, like they're like hands, or like some of them are like super small, and you would feel the change depending on their size. Like the aspect of yourself that can be loving can be this big, just this big. Like it depends. So when you get it back, you feel the difference. And when I get the whole vortex back, like sure, like I feel like that much is back, and that's good. So I'm like wondering, why is there so many? And I look into this, and basically archons have this strategy that they are gonna take away like those super small parts of ourselves. Like every day they're gonna find tons of triggers, how they can cause all kinds of situations to trigger us. Cause you to be afraid, cause you to have fear, be anxious, be expressive and say something you didn't mean to. And all kinds of reactions you will have during the day will be the effect of what you lose. It doesn't mean that every day you lose tons of aspects of yourself, but they, like those archons, will try to cause a situation where they will make sure that you lose the part of yourself. Like you get like really pissed off, or you react in some sort of way, and they're generating douche. But at the same time, the situation will cause you to make a decision. For example, from now on, and you decide from now on you will not do this anymore, or you will do that, and you just sort of regret and not reject. The right word is reject. So you would reject the part of yourself because that part didn't serve you right. Other times, there are entities like literally lurking around, waiting for you to mess up or take their bait and go for it so that they can cause the bad situation and use you and then take the part of yourself back. I mean, like, ow, capture it, capture it, abduct it, whatever, like you call it. But they will mess with you. They will scare your parts, they will abduct them, they will capture them, they will make sure that you're the one rejecting them and making sure like they're not around in your space. So it's every single day. It's not like they take out like lots. They take out little by little. Like all the sort of situations in life, little by little, so that we would not notice. So that we would not know that they are the ones messing with us. So that we would not be aware that it's them. Because if all of a sudden you're doing great, something happens, and you're like, you have a reaction. If you lost a huge part of yourself, you would feel a difference. You would feel like something's wrong, something's not right. But if it's so small that you cannot notice, if they do it over and over and over and over and over freaking again, all the freaking time, they're gonna take a lot out of you. And all of a sudden you're just depleted. You lose your life essence. You lose so much. And like how do I live after I lost so much? So this sort of work I'm doing is like, it just makes me realize that they're trying to trigger us as much as possible every single day. It's a given that they will try to mess with our surroundings, mess with technologies, mess with us, mess with our communications, all kinds of things to get us triggered, to get us to react, to get something going on so they can take away the parts of ourselves. Those little parts, bigger parts, but they will cause it so often that they can take little by little, really a lot and often, and basically you will lose it. For them, it's nothing. Like they can live billions of years, they can take it all out. For you, you live. If it's great, you're gonna live to 100 years. If it's not, like we all have limited time here. Like this body has limited time. If you don't reincarnate and stuff. But anyway, if they can mess with you a lot every single day, they're gonna get out a lot of you. Like all those aspects of yourself that you're gonna lose. So the loss starts like little by little, and it's just amazing for me. Like they're smart. They're freaking smart. Like it's amazing because this whole competition we're having with them, like who's gonna survive and be on top, and like we want to be free, they want to dominate, so it's all this whole fighting and thing. But they're smart, like they know what they're doing, they know how to play with us, they know how to affect the whole situation, and uh, they know their rules and how to play to get us like baited and not noticing that it's happening, like it's them. They know how to get us looking at certain things and getting us to react to this world, to certain things, to certain people, and not being aware that they are the ones causing it, most of it at least, and getting you to react and like they're taking parts of you out or they're like injecting more entities inside of you and all these sort of things. So for me, like this work I'm doing with Rich and like by myself, like remote moving, getting out of body, getting different aspects of myself back, like so removing soul contracts and stuff. It's amazing how much I'm learning lately. All these sort of things, like for me, starts making more and more sense. And I'm just amazed by it. Of course, like sometimes this world, I'm like, oh my god, there's so much info, and how do we fight back, and all these sort of things. But like that's amazing for me, like to find all the information and just learn about it, understand it more, and just connect it. Like I like it. Anyway, so with this whole sort of thing, revoking agreements, getting other aspects of myself back, like after those sessions, like it's amazing the changes I get. Like it's an instant change the energy wise because you wake up more depending on the session because also like when you do this sort of work you get tired and you need more happiness. Like you just you give out a lot, so you need to get something back, which is why it's important to after the sessions to drink, to eat, to touch your surroundings, like to be aware of your surroundings and like reality checks and different things for some happiness, like touching yourself, drinking and stuff like that. So different sort of things like on how to get going with this whole thing, but I'm just amazed by the ones I'm having. Like my personality is changing. I'm becoming a better person, and the person that I want to be. I'm less reactive, which is like amazing. Because it used to be like when I'm giving sessions or something, and like they would mess with the electronics, or like the internet stops working, all kinds of apps are glitching, my emails don't like send, or like all kinds of glitches. It's like it's weird, and I would get a reaction, like I would get pissed off or disappointed or sad or something, but I would get an emotional reaction. Nowadays, when it happens, I laugh because I know that they're the ones causing it. For me, not a big deal. Others wait it out. Everything's gonna be solved. Like I don't make it a thing anymore, and they don't get to win, so they stop causing these sort of things. Like they know that it doesn't work, and they don't do it anymore. So they're gonna do like different things to get me to react. And I think that's the best thing for us to do. changing ourselves, becoming better, and being the one in control. If we can stop reacting to the outside forces, being in control of what we think, how we react, how we feel, stop taking debates. Stop taking debates would be great if we would just, they're trying to bait you for different situations. Like literally, it's a huge thing. One person in life can have another like one person in life can have like fear, worry, or concern. Like they have values, and they have values for your relationship or something with you, and they have values that you're supposed to be like this. And now that everything's going right for like months and years and stuff, they might have a fear that someday, sometime you might do this, and like they worry about you, and you will be the person of the effect. So you're doing great, like your day is going great, everything's like relationship-wise is going great, and all of a sudden you get a craving or an urge for something. And entities can really mess with you, like put thoughts, put cravings, put intentions, baiting you. What they're doing is like they're not controlling you, they cannot control you, but they bait you with that stuff, making sure that you're the one taking it and doing it. You're responsible for your actions, not them. But they will bait you. They will make sure that they can do something to push you towards where they want you to go. Uh, and whatever it can be, relationship-wise or just life-wise, uh, that's how we're connected. Like some people might have fear, and if it's like related to you, basically the entities will make sure that you take the bait because they know that that person has the bait. Has the fear or the emotional feeling, and you will get the bait. So if you take the bait, it's gonna be not only bad for you, but for that person. It's gonna cause the thing between relationships. So all of a sudden, you start concentrating on everyday mundane things, little arguments, something that's not important, and all of a sudden your attention goes into fixing relationships, pleasing someone, being a better person, all kinds of rules and different things on life without you doing the important work. It's like you're stopped and limited, and that's their way. Like they will distract us in all kinds of ways. If they can cause fights between people, divide us, make us angry at each other, they win. So it's really important to be in control of ourselves, control how we react, how we think, and making sure that we're not taking the bait. Like just be the best version of yourself. Like So yeah, like it's a huge topic. I'm learning a lot, but like I'm amazed by how great and amazing they are. They're like they're smart and like persistent and like they really want to dominate us. And it's amazing how like I'm getting like lots of wins, but at the same time, the more I win, the bigger target I become because they really hate the work I'm doing. Like literally, I can get out and like with a simple thought, like okay, that's their spaceship. I'm just gonna destroy it, and like one thought, bam, it's gone. So now that they know that I'm doing this sort of work, they're getting ready for it. So they're making me a bigger target. So once I get out, all of a sudden instead of one spaceship, there's a whole fleet and like hundreds of them. Like, oh, okay, and like that's why I'm getting attacked during my dream states, and like they're trying to mess with my physical body or the body out there, like all kinds of things where they could stop me. So it's the price we pay, but basically it's always like that, like just the whole life and the whole duality of this whole realm. Like, if you're doing better, there will always be someone trying to fight back, trying to be better, and like it's always a conquering and fighting on this universe, at least the physical one. So yeah, my message for the day is like, with everything I explained, please like work on yourself, be the best version of yourself that you can be, get rid of the limiting beliefs, try to not react to the outside forces or things that you cannot control. You can control yourself, you cannot control outside forces, so it's really important for us to work on ourselves a lot, and that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm recently got a book like the Longevity Paradox. It's just great. I'm reading it, and it's something to look into. Like, also like as I'm working on spiritual levels, I'm also want to make sure that I take care of my physical body and like changing my diets and my beliefs and different things, counting on it. And another thing I have is Joe Dispenza, another book, the Breaking the Habit of Yourself. So it's I'm just like trying to learn as much as possible and be the better me, to be in control of myself, and that's where I'm going at. So yeah, I hope you get some insights from this video. I hope it's helpful, and please share your opinion, your thoughts. If you disagree, please share and like say why in the arguments, not just like, oh, you're stupid, Well, you can, like, it doesn't matter. Just be yourself and do what you want to do. So yeah, have a nice day. Bye.